My name is Njambi Njoroge. I come from Kenya. I'm the operations director at Grassroots Economics Foundation. With me is William Radikia. He is the founder of Grassroots and author of Grassroots Economics book. So what I'll be talking about here, he has explained in detail in that book. So look out for a book. So today I'll be talking about commitment pooling. It's a project that we've been working on and inspired by indigenous wisdom. So we have been co-developing Sarafu.network for the last 13 years. And we have seen over 1 million P2P transactions. Then you can see that on the Sarafu.network platform. And this is our team. Um, so we had a study with Wafu program in the eastern part of Kenya. And the study was to give a group of organized groups, community inclusion currencies, like we used to call them then. And the idea was to have them trade goods and services. But we realized after the study that some groups were practicing rotation of labor association. And after practicing that, we realized they had 95% increase in food availability, 90% increased food diversity, and they were able to save a lot of national currency. So what is rotation of labor association? I come from the Kikuyu community. We call this practice Mwedia, and our organization is in Kilifi, the coastal part of Kenya. So the group that lives there, I call it Mweria. So we realize that this practice is not just with us, it is with almost every other community in Kenya and even globally. This is because we also work with Kenya Red Cross in the refugee centers, and the groups there have also names, like the Somalis call them Gub and Burundi call them Mesale. I'm sure if you look back, you'd know a name, that communities would call them. And this Mwedia used to take different forms. And what you're looking at here is an educational kind of a Mwedia, a granddad with his kids, talking. And this is a service kind of a Mwedia, maybe women grinding maize for flour. And this is an infrastructural kind of Mwethia. And there's so many, including fellowship Mwethias and barrio kind of, Mwethias.
So Mutia means basically
Yes, that is where it comes from, the group meetings. But when they're rotating like this, they're really, it's a whole Mwethia, a Mwethia of their a meeting. So now this is an illustration of my grandmother's village. So my grandmother grew up doing this. So her and her neighbors, they would make commitments of offerings to help one another meet their daily or meet their you know projects. So for instance, my grandmother would want her house made. So she'd call upon her neighbors, and her neighbors would come, and they would bring in commitments together. They would accept to, they would fulfill the commitments, build her house, enjoy a meal. Next day, they would go to their neighbor's home, um, till their land, fulfill that. And then at the end of a cycle, they would balance out, therefore growing all their physical assets, social, human, spiritual, political, and natural assets. And sometimes they just do it continuously like that, without even realizing the things that they're building.
how did they keep track on that
So I would say, like, they would have a lot of meetings, and like the Mijikenda community calls the governance meeting Athome. So Athome would happen at family level and at village level. So at family level, they would meet. The father would sit with his sons around the fireplace in the evening while they're eating, and he would guide them. And then the mother would sit with the girls in the kitchen while they're cooking, and they would be guided on how to become a girl, a woman, what to do, how to do things. At village level, they would have meetings, in the evenings, which would be characterized by dance, music, food, storytelling. And this is where they would discuss matters community and prioritize the kind of projects that they would do in a community. So, for instance, if they have an insecurity issue and perhaps a water issue, what comes first, they would get to vote, and they will all take part in deciding and discussing coming up with what kind of work, and also define the rotation of labor that we're meeting for this particular project.
But how would they keep track of the work that was done? Like if somebody worked,
Mhm.
did they get anything that was written down from that?
So since when they're making commitments, and accepting communities and fulfilling communities, there was trust there, first of all. And if anybody would not take part in a particular activity, they would put a sword in the farm, or a big stick there, maybe with a flag, to mean that nobody is to go and help that person, and not unless they, yeah. And then the fine would be like, if you want back in, you bring two black goats and a chicken, and then, yeah, there will be a lot of, yeah, settlement. So so this is balancing out. So now this picture was taken in Uganda, and each woman here represents a group of 15 others, and they would have their practice, their moete is called kunguzanya, and so the question is, like, they would do the moerias, they would all do rotations and help one another. So we were asking ourselves that how much labor would that cost if women were to be paid in Uganda shillings. If 15 people worked a full day, they would be paid 5,000 per person, and so a total of 75,000 shillings, Uganda shillings. And then, so if they worked for 6 days, they would be saving 21,600,000 shillings. So that's the much they're saving. So what if the 10% of homes in that area of Bunyoro would practice kunguzanya? That's the much they would be saving in a year. And what about 90%? If they did the same, how much would they be saving? It's 370 million worth of work done, USD. So like I mentioned, when they're making commitments, fulfilling commitment, accepting commitments, trust is grow, and that is the exact thing that would happen if communities would do that again. So Grassroots Economics Foundation has been helping formalize these commitments, and formalizing commitments to make them into like vouchers, to give them a value, a unique signature. There's an you can decide to have your vouchers to expire, and you know y- the holder of the voucher can redeem them at the issuers, the person who has issued them. So now, this is how it looks. So commitment pooling means that 3 people in a village, my grandmother and her neighbors, offering apples, bread, and carrots, can put them together in a nice pool. So the pool will bring about valuation of the apples, bread, and carrots. It would also enable exchange. So if I put some carrots inside, I can get some apples. And it would also help with limitation and to decide, like, and curation, to decide like what we really need, what is needed in that village to be in that pool. Like, what would people really need? So that is commitment pooling. And then, so now, how do we heal a post-colonial legacy of torn communities and ecosystems? What you do when you go into a new community, we help groups understand like where they are in terms of their social assets, human governance, natural, infrastructural, and economical assets by noting down at what levels are each of these, so that they can be so they can know like what are we working towards, what are we helping, what is more important right now in our case. Is it governance, natural? So at what levels are each? And we help them do that by understanding like what do each of them have, by doing by doing a thread game. So we do a lot of games and practicals with the community members. So this is the thread game here. So this is them realizing that they have so much to offer one another. So each person here has something to offer one another. So they say what I have and what I would need. And so the visualization of the whole community and everything that they have is really amazing. So, and then we take them through the visionary process and community action planning, where we help them come up with a vision by pairing them together. So a pair will come up with 2 visions, and then they'll decide which is more important. Then 2 pairs come together, then with 2 visions, then they come up with one. So at the end of the day, everybody has taken part in coming up with a vision, and then they will sit down and write smart action step, smart current, what do you call them? The current status, where are they now and what do they have to achieve now the vision, because they want to work with exactly what they have at hand and on the ground, and then they come up with nice action steps towards that vision. So an action step can also become a vision. So if it means working towards building a bakery, perhaps they will start with a nice garden that will grow vegetables to be sold, to get some money to buy something external. And then each action step will have an accountable person and a timeline. So meaning everybody will be involved in the whole process. So the whole process of formalizing these commitments for individuals, I would want to go to, but I wanted to show you our dashboard and how it looks like when community members are creating their vouchers backed by their commitments. So this is the first page. And so community members would come here. If they don't have a wallet, they will create a paper wallet. Okay. And I have some with me. It's just a QR code they carry with them. So if a group has only one phone, they can use the phone. They can use the QR codes to log in, log out, and send vouchers. And then here on the side, I don't know if you can see, there are vouchers there, and you can create your own voucher. So anybody can create a voucher. Even you guys today can create your vouchers. So you can get your phone, go to your browser, type in sarafu.network, create a wallet. Let me show you how the dashboard looks like. So this is how the dashboard looks like, and it has a date here specification, so you can specify which dates that you'd want to see all the transactions done in a particular area. And these are all the vouchers down here. And so between 28th January and 28th Feb, all these transactions have been done, 13,339 transactions. And for you to know exactly what those are equals to, there's a reporting tab here. Sorry. These are all the reports that are equals to all those transactions. So if I look up transactions that happened in one village in a particular day, I will go back to this page, and I see all those transactions relate to a cleaning activity that happened that day, and it took 10 people 3 hours to do that particular performance. So at the end of the cycle, when I'm reading out to, or a steward, a community leader is reading out all the activities that they did, all the things that they built, it's mind blowing even for them. They're like, what? We actually built 10 houses. It took us, 3 weeks and 3 farms, and how many trees planted. It's normally mind blowing even for them. And also for any partner or any other person who would want to support such a group. Let me show you now the pools where they get to exchange. So these are all the pools that have been created by the communities. So this pool, Kenyarola pool here, has all the vouchers, commitments of all the communities in Kenya. And some of them are in also different smaller pools, like the Nairobi Roller pool is in Nairobi City. This is Kiriba, this is a village, but they're also on that pool. So that means if there are any services or offerings in this pool that or are missing in this pool, and they can easily get it into that other pool. So the beauty about this pooling aspect is that anybody can, let me open this one pool here. So anybody can support this roller pool, okay? So you can click on support this pool, okay? You can put in some money. So the pools can also access dollars, can also accept dollars, which community members can put in their vouchers or their commitments and pull out the dollars to also support their work. But it also means that it can kickstart a pool that has not yet started. So a pool can start, and then they might be reluctant to join into the pool. But once there's something to kickstart them, they're able to continue. And you're even working with a nice model. It's an Islamic financing model where community members, as in you can put in some money into the pool, then community members can access the money by putting in their commitments. And then it will take them a period of time for them to grow themselves, and then they can pay back the money into the pool for it to be accessed by another community. So that speaks to sustainability of projects, and especially in Kenya.
What is the incentive for who's paying into it? Is it from outside also, right?
We work with like partners might want to partner with us and work with us, like you work in Kenya Red Cross. And of course, sometimes they want to help them start income generating activities. Sometimes it's not really sustainable because the project runs for 2 5 years. But now looking at the whole idea, like can we do to make it more sustainable? If the money can be accessed and also returned, then it can continue being there to be accessed by many people. And the beauty about it is that it can you can decide to have no interest at all when you're accessing the money into the pool. Yeah. So let me go back to my slides now. I wanted to show you a little bit about that. So it is very easy for any person anywhere to create a paper wallet, to create a voucher, and to create a pool. And I would really call upon you guys to even try it on your phones today. So this is how the community, the vouchers enter into a community. Once they're created, they enter into circulation through the rotation of labor, like I have been showing you earlier, or markets, So they can have like a common market where people can bring in goods and services to exchange and pay using the vouchers. And they can go back into the issuer if there is a demurrage, a deduction, over time, and also through settlements. So Kenyans, especially community members, you have feature phones, and so for them to transact the vouchers, they will dial a USSD code, that, and then this is how it looks like at first, and then when they want to send, they dial the same code, then they send to that person's number. So that's the USSD interface in Kenya. But for anyone anywhere in the world, they can use the web interface like I was showing you here. So this is an illustration of all the groups that we have. And each dot here represents a household or business. And the lines there are how they are interacting with one another. Yeah. I don't know if my time is up, but why distributed ledger? Obviously, because there's a virtual environment, resilient, energy efficient, accountability, transparency, interoperability, no lock-ins, identity, valuable service. So why do we express our value? It is important. It is everywhere. If you're holding a voucher, you can. There's so many vouchers you can redeem them at the issuers. So express your value today by creating your voucher. It can be a gift card, loyalty points, and then you can curate by developing a pool, and then you decide which vouchers you would want inside or which offerings you'd want inside. And then you can also invest or seed into your pool or any pool that you'd feel is important. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering how long have you been doing? Maybe I missed it, but how long have you been doing these programs? And I saw the dashboard, so I can see that they're ongoing.
Yeah.
But how long have you been building with this?
For the last 13, 14 years, but we started with the paper vouchers. They were in different denominations, and then eventually we went to digital and blockchain in 2018.
Okay.
Yes.
2018?
Yeah, blockchain, yes.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
Do you need to travel a lot to manage the programs?
Not really. Uh, so I get to travel like this to really share like what on the ground is happening and that people can really do this. And our hope is if they do exactly what Kenyans are doing, communities in Kenyans are doing at their own level, creating pools and connecting those pools together, we can have a really beautiful uh, community of all the services that we all have and which will help us go together.
What are some of the main questions you get when you're onboarding or hesitations that you see
Yeah.
like explaining?
Yeah. In most cases, what I get is like, but I don't have goods, but I have nothing to offer. But really helping them realize everybody has something to offer. That is one thing I get. Yeah. Yeah.
What are your biggest challenges?
Our biggest challenges, I would say, for now is the getting a nice app to or from. Communities are using paper wallets. So obviously, when they want to from the dollars to national currency, they will have to move that to another. Yeah, and also what else? Like communities having not having phones. Of course, you're using paper wallets, but also getting that one phone. Yeah.
Sorry, I missed part of that, but how are you funded?
So we are on Telo blockchain. So we get to, people can stake into our nodes. So that means that they can get a return by staking, and then we can get part of the fees to support our tech and our admin. Yeah.
Super interesting. Thanks so much.
Thank you.